Hello, you're welcome. So we're going to be having a tutorial today on how to deploy an IoT Edge for streaming analytics on the Azure platform. So in this tutorial, you learn how to create an IoT-hub, which is a cloud-hosted solution backend to connect any IoT device virtually. You learn how to create a Linux virtual machine, how to configure the virtual machine to be an IoT Edge device. You also learn how to deploy a simulated sensor that generates temperature, humidity, and pressure data to an IoT Edge device. And finally, you see how you can send telemetry messages to the IoT hub. Okay, so we have to do some preliminaries, which is the aspect of setting up our command line interface for the deployments and creating resource group. So first of all, you'd have to create a free Azure subscription, and you can do this in two ways. So, we can have there's a normal free subscription that, you're entitled to 1 month to use resources, or we can use the Azure for students. So I think I prefer the Azure for students because that one you can have it for longer. So I would then, so I've gone on this link and we're here, activate now. And I think we'll have to go through some verification. They'll ask me to sign up. So you're going to be using your Microsoft account, your university Microsoft account. I am going to have to pause to enter this detail. So you have to fill out some details and for verification purposes. So I've, they sent a text to me and I entered that, and I'd have to put my email address, phone number. Well, this is optional, and I'll go to the next. And I have to agree to this. Let's sign up. Well, probably I'm happy. Submit. Okay, so that's the first step, and now it will take me to the Azure portal. This is like for the education hub. So, but I go to the home, and yeah, I have a subscription now. I can have a look at my subscription. It's not been applied. Let's see. Come back here and check. See it now. Okay, so the profile, just want to see if, yeah, so Azure Credit student offer $100. So it's been applied. It expires, so it's like 1 year. Right. So now I get back to the tutorial. So I have to set up the Azure Cloud Shell. So I follow this link, and yeah, so I'll set up, let's use Bash. So Azure for students by default, because that's the only subscription that's going to be working. Create storage. So it's going to create that. So I think I put extra step here because if you encounter this when I tried it previously, storage creation failed. So they might want you to put fill out some details here. So let's see if we're able to create that directly. So it might take a bit of time. Okay, requesting a cloud shell. So it's coming up now. succeeded. Connecting terminal. And let's wait for it. So you're going to see screen like this when it's done. Yeah. So now MUN1 at Azure. Okay. So good. We're done with that. So now the next step would be to add Azure IoT extension. We can use the Azure command line interface to complete most part of the tutorial actually. For some of this, you can actually just do that on the, so this is the command line interface, but we can also use the portal. So if you go to home, portal.azure.com, so this is where you can do lots of stuff. You can create a resource or even create the virtual machine. So we're going to come to this phase later, but right now let us just work with the command line interface. So I'm going to copy this, add an extension, and I'll paste that here. Or we could use the PowerShell. Let's just work with the bash right now. So paste that and wait for it as the first step. See, takes a while. Yeah, so it's done now. Oh, okay, so that's done. We've created that extension. And then the next is for us to create a cloud resource group, right? Like, as I said, you can decide to do this on the command line, or you can do it directly here, or you can come here, create a resource, and but let's just stick with the command line. We paste this code. So Azure AZ is just the command you're using to representing Azure. Here we're saying we want to create a group, and the name is IoT Edge resources. The location is East US 2, because the resources are different locations. Yeah, good. We have created that. And the next thing is for us to create the IoT Edge device. So we're going to be creating a Linux virtual machine that will act as an IoT Edge device. And we'll just use Edge VM or whatever name you choose, and username Azure user. It takes a while, so you can give it like 5 to 10 minutes times. Okay, so like I said, you can create this directly on the command line or on the portal. So let's paste this here. So we're saying we're creating a virtual machine image. We are setting the terms, and it's an IoT Edge Ubuntu image, and we're specifying that it's an Edge runtime only. Okay. Okay, let's have to wait a while. So, okay, now we have accepted the terms and license text and all of that stuff. So the next step would now be actually the actual creation of the resource. We're going to paste this here, and we're basically saying we're creating under the resource group. So I think previously I've used the name IoT Edge resources. So let's stick with the same name here. Edge resources, and the name of the virtual machine is Edge VM. We're specifying the kind of image it is, and we're going to generate SSH keys for it. Okay. So again, wait for that to be done. We're going to see a screen like this when it's done, specifying the location, the MAC address, power state, the private IP address and the public IP address. So you have to take note of the public IP address and the resource group where it's located. So it will take a while anyway. Okay, so we'll wait for that. So we're still waiting. It's still running, but like I said, so this is one way to create the virtual machine. Well, another way, if we refresh this page, all resources, let's see if anything has been created. Subscription, actual for students, apply. Okay, so we can see here that, so this is the cloud shell in its own resource group, the IoT Edge resources that we created. So if we go to the IoT Edge resources, okay, let's see if it's done. It's still creating, but it's not done yet, but we can already see that the Edge VM has, it's already been created on IP, the network and all of this. So this is something we could actually do. We can create resource group from here, right? Create and you give it a name, the region. So this is something we could actually just do from the portal, or even the virtual machine. We can add virtual machine and go through the steps here, put the name, the image, we're using the Linux machine here, the size and authentication type. So we could just do that directly from here. Okay, so now it's done. So like I said, you're going to find these details. Take note of the public IP. So I'm going to copy that now. So we would need it, and the resource group is IoT Edge resources. So we've done this, we've checked the resource. So now we're going to come to the main steps. What we were trying to achieve here is that we create our Edge device, and there's an Azure IoT Edge runtime on this Edge device, right? That's connected to the IoT-hub. And all of this module here, we're going to be deploying a sensor module here, and it will be connected to the Azure Container Registry, or you're deploying a module, a container, right? A containerized application that is being managed by the Azure Container Registry. So the first step is creating the IoT-hub. IoT-hub allows you to manage all IoT devices that are connected to the hub. It will take care of identity and security management. So we're going to paste the code below into our command line interface. And where it says hub name, you have to replace it with the actual name, and it has to be a unique name, right? It would be unique. If it's not a unique name, if the name already exists, then it wouldn't work. Yeah, so paste. Remember, we've specified the IoT Edge resources and the hub. So let's say UN, what's today's date? 17, 12, 20. I find using dates and sort of my initials, maybe your alias kind of works. Okay, let's see. This one is going to take a bit of time, but when it's done, let's see, screen like this. Okay. And here to tell us the location, the name, properties. Yeah. Waiting. I'll just pause for it to finish up. Yeah, I sensed it that it's going to fail because must start with an alphanumeric, right? But I think it's this dots that I put here. So I'll try that again. All right. Okay, so it's done now. You can actually see the very long details here. So we're done with that. And the next step now would be to register. So we're done with creating the IoT hub. So now we have to register an IoT Edge device. So the first thing will be to create a device identity. For your IoT Edge device to communicate to the IoT hub, you have to create a device ID. And you have this Edge enabled flag that differentiates this IoT Edge device from other IoT devices because they are managed differently. So we're going to paste this here. Remember to change the hub name to whatever name you choose. Okay, that was fast. And so we've created the device ID, my Edge device. And the next step would be to view the connection string. The device ID you just created resides in the cloud, and you can link it to a physical device using the device connection string. So we would create that connection string. So we show it here. What? Okay. Did I do something wrong? Okay. All right. So now I'm going to copy this connection string. Actually, the part that I need is this. Right. So let's put it here because we would need that. So you can see it has the IoT hub, the device ID, and some authentication keys. The next step would now be, yeah, we've copied and kind of kept it aside. Now we have to install and start the IoT Edge runtime. Yeah, we'll have the connection string of the device. Then we have to configure the IoT Edge device with the device connection string by running this command. Oops. I have to change the name of my hub. Right. And the device connection string, put the right name here. Go back to this, copy this and paste it here. All right. Hopefully should be fine. Right, let's see. Okay. So this Edge runtime that we're trying to install, it is deployed in all IoT Edge devices, and it serves three key purposes. Securing and startup of the device, managing the deployment and monitoring of models, and it's also for communication between device and model, and between device and the hub. Okay, it's done now. So the next thing is for us to log into the Edge VM. Remember the public IP address earlier when we created the VM. Okay, so come in here, copy this. Yes, I'm sure. Right, so we're in now. So we have to check if the IoT Edge device is configured. So we'll check the status of the IoT Edge device. Now, let's see. Yeah, so Edge runtime is running. It is running, right? So that works. And we can check other things as well. Okay. Okay, yep. That's fine. And now we want to see IoT Edge, what is listed there, and find the Edge agent is running, right? So that's fine as well. So now we have to deploy a model, right? So this model is already built, it's a pre-built model, which will act as a simulated temperature sensor to generate data and send to the IoT-hub. So we're almost there. We sign into the Azure portal, we navigate to the IoT-hub to find that actual IoT-hub. So here, IoT Edge, resources. Okay, this is the IoT-hub, right? Remember? So that's the first step. The next step is from the menu on the left pane, under automatic device management, select IoT Edge. So yeah, automatic device management, IoT Edge. We're here. Then click on the device ID of the target device from the list. Okay, let's see, we have my Edge device, right? You can see that. Oops. There's my screen acting from. Okay. So we are here. So the next step is that on the upper bar, select set models. Set models. Right. And then click on add in the IoT Edge models and select the marketplace model. So that's right here, add marketplace model. Okay. Now we search for simulated temperature sensor model. Just like typing simulated. Yes, that's it. Okay. Then select routes to move to the next wizard step. Yep, next routes. And so by default, you find the default routes defined we do upstream, sending data to the IoT hub. But the simulated sensor does the same thing. So we have to delete the redundant default one. So you see, this is the default, right, from messages. So we'll just delete this first, the default one, right? Okay. So we'll go to review and create. We'll wait for it. Okay. And finally create it. Okay, so now we can see Edge agent, Edge hub, simulated temperature sensor, right? So let's get back to running this command again, the list, to see the modules that we have on the command prompt. Okay, so we can see the simulated temperature sensor is running. And if we want to see the data that's been generated here, we can see, can run the log. So this is a container, right? So we run the logs to see. You can see successfully initialized model, and it's sending this message to the IoT hub. So the temperature, pressure, ambient, yeah, all these values, it's sending this, and it is running. It's going to be running continuously unless you stop it. Okay, so it's like, the way the normal temperature sensor will be sending readings every second or every minute according to how you set it. So I think this does that every 5 seconds, right? 49, 44, 49, 54. Yeah, so every 5 seconds sending this telemetry to the IoT hub. Okay, so that is really, so what we've done here now is just all that you have in this picture right here. We have been able to, first of all, create the IoT hub, the edge device, and this IoT hub, you manage devices here, and we've created our edge device. So this is a component of its own, but really it is connected to the IoT hub because this is where the devices are managed. So this is our edge device, and within this edge device, we have also created an IoT Edge runtime, and we have deployed a model that is managed by the Azure Container Registry, a simulated sensor model. We're able to send telemetry data every 5 seconds to the hub, right? So this telemetry data is what is being sent to the IoT hub. Remember, the devices are being managed within, and they are communicating within the hub. That's why we had to create the connection string, right? Okay, but then it doesn't end there, because if you leave it this way, it's just going to be running. It will keep on running, and that is consuming your credits, right? So when we are done with this deployment, we want to clean up. Let us now clean up the resources. So you can use this to just delete the entire resource group, right? Because remember, so if you go back to the home and you go back to the IoT Edge resources, all of these resources, the Edge VM, the hub, they are attached to this resource. So we can just, once we clean up, everything is going to be wiped off. So now we paste this. Okay, let's see if it works within this VM. Okay, yeah, because we are already within the VM. I think we have to exit. Right, yeah, we've exited the VM, and we can then paste this within the command line. We delete. Yes, you have to be careful. You have to make sure you really want to delete this. Yes, why? All right. So the waits for our resource to get deleted. And we can even do that from the portal, right? We can come down here and delete the resource book directly here. Okay, so that is really what's needed. And once it's deleted, it's going to be confirmed, and you can check as well by if it's really deleted by running this AZ group list. All right, thank you very much. I hope you learned from this, and I hope you can follow the steps to create your own resources and run this sort of streaming analytics application. Thank you for watching, and I'll be happy to take your questions.